Hi you guys, welcome back to another video. It's Jag if you're new here. If not, welcome back. Today we're actually going to continue with our Chemistry 11 content. This is on nomenclature, naming compounds, and I think what we'll focus on for today's class is going to be naming ionic compounds containing polyatomic ions as well. Of course, in most cases, the teacher might give you a table with all the polyatomic ions, but if not, then you are required to be memorizing these specific compounds. All right, so with that, let's get started. All right, so here we are, Chemistry 11 nomenclature. So example 1 says, write the name of each of the following compounds. Okay, so just like I mentioned, of course, you'll have like a table with these polyatomic ions, but it is important, even if you're not required to memorize these ions, you should be able to recognize them. Okay, so we're going to try a bunch of examples here. So the first one says NH4Cl. Okay, so I noticed that NH4 is polyatomic. This is ammonium. Not to be confused with ammonia, okay? Ammonia is actually NH3. Ammonium is NH4. The charge is actually 1 plus. And chlorine has a charge of 1 minus, okay? So this becomes ammonium chloride, okay? And remember, for the anion, which is negative, you're always adding IDE at the end. I like writing the charges here, okay? When you look at the actual like compound, even if you don't remember the charge of the polyatomic ion, I'm using the reverse crossover method to determine what the charge is, okay? So same thing here. Hydrogen has a charge of 1. So this is ClO2. The charge is 1 minus. Okay, so of course, if you remember, chlorate is ClO3. When you remove 1 oxygen, it becomes chlorite. So I have hydrogen, chlorite. Okay, and the ending is ITE. And when there were 3 oxygens, like the regular base form, the ending was ATE. Okay, so hopefully you remember that pattern. And that pattern can apply for any of these polyatomic ions. Okay, let's take a look at C. I see Ca is calcium. And if you don't know, again, polyatomic here, BrO3, this is bromate. So I'm just writing calcium, bromate. Okay, so don't worry about like the numbers and the subscripts that you see here. We'll take a look at how to write out the actual formulas in just a little bit. Let's try D. D says BeSO4. Again, I recognize SO4 as being polyatomic. This is sulfate. Oh, let's write charges, okay? Calcium has a charge of 2 plus. Bromate is 1 minus, okay? So you notice this 2 is crossing over to the opposite side. That's where the 2 comes from. And because bromate is polyatomic, you have to make sure you're putting the brackets, and the 2 has to be outside the brackets, okay? So D, this is beryllium. SO4 is sulfate, so I'm just going to be writing beryllium sulfate. Okay, just like this. Of course, this is just an introduction to polyatomic ions. There are a lot of other naming methods like the stock system and the classical naming, the classical system to name the compounds as well, which will be covered in a separate video. Okay, let's take a look at E. E says NH3NO3. Oh, actually, let's put NH4NO3, because NH4 is ammonium. Okay, and NO3, this is nitrate. And some of these polyatomic ions are actually very common, like nitrate. If I remove 1 oxygen and it's NO2, that becomes nitrite. Do you see that? Nitrate. The charge is still 1 minus, so I'll put minus 1. This would be nitrite. Okay, and I think also we will go through the pattern, because this pattern is really important. When you're removing or adding like oxygen atoms, it does change the actual name of the compound. And F says SR3PO4 2, Sr, this is strontium. Okay, and PO4 is phosphate. Okay, and also notice the phosphates ion is the only one that has actually a 3- charge, and strontium has a charge of 2+. You see that? The 3 is coming from phosphate, and the 2 is coming from the strontium. So if you do the reverse crossover method, okay, I can always check the charges on each of the compounds. All right, so let's go to example 2. It says, write the chemical formula for each compound. Okay, and I chose some where the charges are different for the cation, which is positive, and the anion, which is negative. Okay, so A says sodium chromate. So I'm going to check the periodic table. Sodium has a charge of 1+. Then you're checking your table for chromate. Chromate is CrO4. The charge is 2-. Okay, I'm going to use the crossover method. Now look very closely. Let's make the 1 like this. The 1 is going to cross over to the opposite side, and the 2 is going to go in between the actual element and this compound. So it becomes Na2CrO4, which is 1. All right, so when you write CrO4, you see how the 1 is actually coming from sodium. I'm going to write it neatly, okay? But you don't need to actually put the 1. Just like in math, I can just leave it as it is, okay? And this is the final answer. So that's where these subscript, like the small numbers, are coming from. Let's try B. B says barium nitrate. Barium is in group 2, and it has a charge of 2+. Nitrate is NO3, and the charge is 1-. Okay, and you can always look in your polyatomic table. Okay, the charges never change. Even between nitrate and nitrite, the charge is still 1-. Okay, I'm going to cross it to the opposite side. And this becomes Ba bracket, okay, NO3 and 2. So notice when I'm bringing this 2 to the opposite side, you have to put brackets for the nitrate, like the anion. It's basically like 2 molecules of NO3. Okay, and this is the actual formula. Okay, let's take a look at C. C says ammonium sulfate. Ammonium is NH4. The charge is 1+. And if I look in my table, sulfate is SO4. The charge is 2-. Okay, and now you're going to cross the charges over. So of course you don't need to keep making arrows, but if you get confused, I would still put the arrows down. Okay, and so this becomes, because the 2 is coming in the middle, I'm going to put brackets NH4, 2 coming from sulfate, and SO4. There's just going to be 1 compound, right, of the SO4. And I don't need to put the SO4 in brackets for that reason. Okay, so if it's a polyatomic ion and there's basically more than 1 of the polyatomic compound or the molecular compound, you do have to put brackets around it. Okay, and let's try one last question here. This says aluminum hydroxide. So aluminum is in group 3 or 13. The charge is 3+. Hydroxide is OH. The charge is 1-. Okay, and then I'm going to cross the charges to the opposite side. Okay, and remember from last year, from grade 10 science, whenever you see hydroxide in the compound, that indicates it's a base. Okay, so I'm going to put Al1 bracket OH, close the bracket, and 3. Again, the 3 has to be outside the brackets. And that brings this video to an end. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you understand how to name ionic compounds containing polyatomic ions, and also how to write out the formulas. This is just so important. If you're not able to write out the proper formulas for these compounds in the next unit, when you're writing out the chemical equations, you're going to find it very difficult, as well as like balancing chemical equations. There's a lot more fun stuff that's coming up. And also, you know, there are so many different naming methods. So we're going to go through each of the naming methods separately in each video before we move on to writing out chemical equations and balancing them. So thank you for watching once again, and I'll see everyone in the next video. Bye!